I think a lot of parents do the same thing. Because my mom, she used to buy one like brand new box of Captain Crunch, and then she
Yeah.
would just fill it up with generic Captain Crunch every time, and I could taste the difference. I'm like, what the hell are
Yeah.
you feeding me right now?
I got like multi meal or we grew up poor. When I say poor, broke was a goal and we never hit it.
Everybody, today we have one of our favorite people ever, Jeff with LynnPro. He is so funny, and you're going to see why he's one of our favorite people. He is going to crack you guys up. So, how's it going, Jeff?
Pretty good. The pressure's on right now. I don't see anything funny in this video. What's going on? Yeah. You're
Jeff,
like one of those comedians that's funny around his family, got up on stage and just stage fright, right?
yeah,
So,
right.
yeah, I never do this. I only do this once in a great, I said never. I've only done this a couple times, and I'm only doing it because I like you guys. It has nothing to do whether we do business together. I like you, and you ask, and I figured it's the least I could do. Depending on how this goes, this could be the last time.
I don't think you're going to do that bad. Give yourself some credit.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get off on your tangents, and I'm just dying. So, feel free.
So for someone who's never heard of LynnPro, how do you explain what LynnPro does?
Well, LynnPro is a promotional products factory. We screen print and embroider in house, and we do digital transfers in house and stickers. A lot of stuff like Yeti mugs we don't do in house, but we have access to it. So basically, it's this: anything with the logo, practically, we can get and put on a product for you. You name the product or what you're looking for. If you're looking for like table tents, when you go to a trade show and you need a booth all decked out, we can get you that. If you need T-shirts for a running event, for a school, for a play, for a cause. Let's say somebody's going through a hard time and they want to do like, it's sad to say this, but it happens all the time. Like somebody's going through cancer and illness and they want to raise money or they want to have a shirt like, hey, support my mom or whatever. I don't even know what it says exactly, but it says all kinds of things. Anything that you want to say on a shirt, as long as it's not offensive to the majority of our audience, we'll do it. You
Yeah.
know, you're always going to offend somebody. That's just how it is. But I mean, we don't do anything that we find offensive that,
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
got to stay within means and we don't knock off anybody's logo. We've had that happen in the past where, believe it or not, it was a church. They kept wanting to do different knockoffs of like cereal, like tricks and stuff. And I'm like, no, we can't do that because they're not going to go after the church. So they're going to come after us. So we just don't do anything like that. But anything else, if you got a logo and you want to look cool and on different items and you want to make sure it's done right, LynnPro is a place to go.
Cool.
Very cool. How
Love
often
that.
do you think that you would say it happens that somebody maybe brings something to you that's maybe copyright or something that's too offensive that you guys can't print it?
Very rarely nowadays because we nip it in the bud real quick. We're like, hey, and they're quick to pivot. They don't tell them, listen, we're not doing that because we don't want to get sued. They'll just say, hey, we'll come up with something that's not gonna cause any problems. What do you think of this? And most people will pivot because they just want something cool and they thought, well, I saw this, so I just want to copy that, right?
Yeah.
And but not very often anymore. Back in the day, oh man, it was crazy when I first started. Statute of limitations is up on this. When I first started, I bought all these screens, right? We screen print, so we have screens that the ink goes through. And I bought them out of Hawaii or out of California, I'm sorry. And it was a company that used to do a lot of skateboarding stuff. And so I had like ESS, uh, uh, their actual logo, because the company that went out of business had the screens and we bought them out. So I was screen printing stuff up. Well, I thought, man, if this is that easy, I'm going to do Nike and Adidas, right? And give them to my kids. So I did that. And my kids looked at the tag and said, this is a Gildan. I said, no, this is Nike to you. I cut the tag and they wouldn't wear it. So then I decided, then somebody said, you can get in trouble for that stuff. And I said, well, I'm not going to do it. So I didn't do it. I did it like 2 or 3 times, like back to back, because I thought it'd be cool.
That's
And then I
so,
realized, it's ripping people off. I don't think that's so cool. But
yeah.
when you're in the beginning stages, you're excited, you do all kinds of things. It's a little questionable sometimes. It's not that you don't know, it's just that you don't know for sure.
Right.
And
Yeah, it's a gray
so
area.
you kind of know. And but I thought, my kids wanted Nike and that stuff's expensive and I'm a startup, so I'm like, this is Nike, but they weren't buying it at all.
That's so funny. I think a lot of parents do the same thing. Because my mom, she used to buy one like brand new box of Captain Crunch, and then she
Yeah.
would just fill it up with generic Captain Crunch every time, and I could taste the difference. I'm like, what the hell are
Yeah.
you feeding me right now?
I got like multi meal or we grew up poor. When I say poor, broke was a goal and we never hit it. And so my mom, I'm not even joking. So my mom would be like this. She was a single mom and she never held back on anything. I mean, if you're getting whacked, you were getting whacked in church, you were getting whacked, and it didn't stop. This is, her favorite saying is, "We're poor, but we're not dirty." Okay,
Yeah,
I was like, I
yeah,
don't know where they come from, but that's it. You know what? And she spoke that to an existence because we never got out of poverty with her. I
Yeah,
never say poor. If I hear it in a song, I won't even say those lyrics, right? I just don't
yeah.
speak that in existence. And but it was always like, we're going down to get some government cheese and some peanut butter. I'm not even joking. So I would have my regular clothes on. My mom would be like, "Get in there and put on your play clothes." I'd be like, "What?" She goes, "Go put on your play clothes and don't bring anything out that didn't have holes in the knees or anything. We got to play the part." I was like, "Play the part. We live the part.
We are the
we
part.
can't even dress. We can't even dress nice to go. Just our regular clothes. We're already broke. We're walking to get the peanut butter, right?" We did. We
That
didn't have
should
a
say
car, so
enough,
we'd walk.
right?
We'd carry this big jar of peanut butter and this cheese, and I don't know what else they gave us, but we'd cut this cheese open. There'd be like, I don't know, pieces of like salt, like they preserved the damn cheese or whatever. I never liked that, but that's what it was. My mom, she did what she did, and
She did what she could
we're
do.
poor, but we're clean.
Yeah.
that's right.
And I feel like that's kind of a good story to share. I mean, you shared it with us in some of our other meetings and that little tidbit just now. So, I mean, like growing up like that, did that give you the motivation to build such a successful company? Or did this all kind of happen by accident and you just like knew this was the path that you wanted to go down?
Yes, is the most of that. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to be poor. But to me, poor wasn't that you were going to be rich. I just wanted to buy stuff. Like if I want a new pair of Levi's, back in the day, I don't know if you can remember, your dad probably does, but Levi's, you could buy the stiff kind. I'm talking they're like a board.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, why are these so hard? But they were only like 9.99, right? So you could get the tag Levi's in the back. But the key to this was turning them inside out so they wouldn't crease, because if they creased the first couple times, you would have that damn permanent white line in there, right? Until they got so faded. So well, there was a trick to this stuff, right? But it got you into a pair of Levi's.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
you're in high school and stuff, Levi's is what you wanted. And because my mom, see, we always had like Adidas plus an extra stripe. What the hell's the extra stripe? Like I'm going to be that. I'm not even athletic. She gets me an extra stripe. It ain't Adidas. It's something else, right?
Right.
So I
Right.
always had like four stripes and tried to rip one off, but it's too damn wide. So it just, and I wasn't talented to sew it back on closer or whatever. But no, I just didn't want to be. I just didn't want to be broke. And then my wife, she grew up not as equally as broke. She was like one level above, right? She was
Yeah.
she was like broke plus, and or broke minus, however you want to look at that. And the thing was, is that I just wanted to have something my own. So I was willing to do anything because I thought, I have all the time in the world. What do I care about time for?
Hmm.
I mean, what do you do with time anyway when you're broke and you have time and you're trying to not be broke? Well, now you have some kind of a trade-off, right? You're willing to give all these hours so you're not going to be broke. That's in your mind what you're saying, right? You could give two shits less about what it takes, how long it takes, is it going to work? Right?
Yeah.
That's all I cared about.
Yeah.
So when I had multiple different businesses and I failed at every one of them, but at least I failed forward. I was like, oh, I don't want to do that shit anymore.
Hmm.
I had a carpet cleaning business one time, and man, that was a brutal business. But my wife was great at telemarketing. She would not stop telemarketing until she got something. My wife is a very determined individual.
I
Okay.
love
When
that.
I say determined, that's the key. Okay. My success is uh, it's tied to my wife in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Same.
because she's a force. And she's Cherokee, so she's Indian, not all the way. Thank
Yeah.
God. And
Yeah.
when I say thank God, is I don't think if she gets that from her Indian side, I can't handle. I need watered down.
Yeah,
Okay,
right. Yes.
and
Yeah.
yeah. So just to give you an idea, her mom is 79 years old. And she called us yesterday. We had a big snow blizzard up here and she was snowed in for a day, right? She's a gypsy, not really. She's Indian too. But when I say she's a gypsy, she's just roam all over.
Yeah.
And she called us yesterday and she said, Hope you made it through okay. I'm fine. I'm out and about. And I'm looking outside like, I don't even want to go outside. So I'm like, what does she mean by that? And I asked my wife, what is she saying by that? And so she said, Mom, what are you doing? She goes, Oh, I'm going shopping. And I was like, okay. And she just moved up here from New Mexico. She's from this area, but she hasn't lived here like in 20 years. So she moved up here from New Mexico with her cat, and we got her a trailer. We got her new car and everything. And I decided that if she moved up here because she's old, I mean, her birth certificate's like number 3, right? I asked her, I said, Where's the other numbers? This is all there was, right? I was like, well, holy shit, you're from way back in the day. My kids call her grandma, obviously. I call her different things. It depends, how I feel
Depends on
about
the
her.
day.
Yeah, right. But sometimes her name is Rosemary, and she always tells you that's one word. So I just call her Dusty. I figure that covers the age and Rosemary. Where I got started, I failed at several businesses. Okay, I was in Amway. I failed at that. I loved Amway. I'm a promoter. I'm not a closer.
Mhm.
Okay, if you wanted me to sell anything, if you don't want to buy it, I would tell you this: don't. I don't know what to tell you. I
Right.
mean, don't call me after. I don't want you to have buyer's remorse, right? I do
Right.
an ironclad guarantee. If you get something from LynnPro, if you don't like it, we'll replace it or refund it. Okay. That wasn't always the case, but my friend who really took an interest in me owned a company called M&R, and it's the largest screen printing manufacturing company in the world. They were in
Wow.
Poland, but they're out of Illinois. Him and I were kind of like arch enemies, so to speak, through some boards on online forums, right? And then I'll tell you the story in private sometime. Then we became friends. I called him up. I misjudged the guy. He misjudged me, but I really misjudged him.
Mhm.
And by no short terms, I let him know that this is I'm not going to be bullied. So anyway, I bought some presses from a guy that didn't deliver them, and I was out $70,000 on one press that never got delivered. This is hard cash. I
Wow.
only pay one way, guys,
Hmm.
fast and in full.
Yeah.
If I build a house, if I buy a car, I have zero debt, and I'm not bragging about that. I just had terrible credit when I was younger, and I just never improved until I got older. And the thing about that is I was at an airport one time and with my grandson and my wife, we were flying out. We were going on vacation to Arizona, and I go to this. And this is probably like 7 years ago. Now I own buildings, rental property, all this stuff, right? So I go and I'm just setting the story up for it. This is how much I really knew about life. So I go there to Enterprise. I think it was Enterprise or someplace to get my car. And they said, well, we need to do a credit check. I said, well, I already paid on Expedia, or yeah, on Expedia. It's already paid for. We need to do a credit check. I said, I'm not buying the damn car. I'm renting. What do you got? What are you talking about? So they do a check, right? And they said, my credit score isn't high enough.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, to rent the damn car? I was like, what are you talking about? So they said, you can go down to so and so and they'll probably rent to you. They have better terms for you or whatever.
Yeah.
And I wanted to tell the guy I could wire the money and buy the damn car right now if I wanted to.
Right.
Okay.
Hmm.
But I didn't know. So I go down there and, I'm sitting there thinking, is this thing going to have all the same size wheels? What kind of rent a car am I going right down here? Right. I mean, I'm sitting there. I felt like a deadbeat. I did. The point being is you don't know what you don't know. You might be great at something else you might just be shitty at, right? And the
Yeah.
point being is everybody's shitty at something.
Yep.
And it's everybody's turn. It's somebody's turn at being great at something every day,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Might
Right.
be your turn, might be your turn at being shit on today, you know?
Yeah.
Other days it might be like, holy smokes, I hit a home run.
Yeah.
But in business, you just don't know that. And the thing about business is you just have to keep going. Listen, if you're in jeopardy, I learned this a long time ago. The good thing about growing up poor and having a mom whose first word was no, we can't afford it, is I don't spend my seed money ever in business.
Hmm.
Like I know what I need to operate on, and I have 7 different accounts set up because I read a book that you should do this. I'll give you the name of the book. I can't think of it right now. And he said, set it up this way. So everything every week goes just into different things, right? I know exactly what I have that I can screw off on,
Yeah.
and I know exactly what I can't do, right?
Right.
And so my point being is that if it ain't jeopardizing your relationship with your wife or your kids, like to where, you're causing serious turmoil, listen, man, just dump some time and money into it and go for it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what it really takes. I wish my kids, I could set them up in any franchise they want in any business. They're just not built like that. I don't know if it's because second generation they didn't see it. I'm hoping. I told my kids one time, and I joke around a lot times with my kids. So I told them one time, they're like, we don't want to be business owners. I said, listen, that's fine. I said, just do the best you can at whatever you can do. Just be good at what you do.
Yeah.
And secretly, I'm hoping, damn, I don't know why they don't get. My wife's like, I don't know why they don't get it either. So once in a while, I just remind my kids. Sometimes success skips a generation, but if it isn't working on those 2 grandkids, your mom and I are out of here. Okay, if there's no hope here, this is the end of the road. What are we doing all this for?
Right.
So, you wonder why people can't get stuff sometimes. They're just not in a position, or they don't see it, they don't care about it. It's not important to them. Just like people that we hire back in the day, I used to tell people when I hire them, it sounds terrible, and I don't mean any of this. Listen, a lot of this shit are jokes, right? This stuff is jokes, okay? But I would say it, but I in a nice way. When people came to our place the average employee in my place has been there 8 years.
Yeah.
And the average age is under, I think it's like 32.
Hmm.
Okay. I've got one person that came while they were graduating high school, and she's been 18 years. She heads
Wow.
up. She knows as much about my business, my accounts, everything, more about customers than I do. And she's an entrepreneur. And what that means is she's great being an inside entrepreneur, so to
Yeah.
speak, right? She
Yep.
never has uh, an interest in going out on her own doing something.
Yeah.
I mean, something it might fantasize like, oh, this would be great if I did it my own, but she knows.
Yeah.
She has she runs everything day to day inside there. Same thing with my VA. My in the beginning, my wife's like, "Are you worried that they're listen? I don't want to do this shit half the time. So I'm pretty sure they probably don't either. Okay. It'll be fine. And, that's how we run our business is that back to the joking thing. When we get a new person, I'll be like, you smell that? You smell that? And they're like, what? I said, that's opportunity. Take a big whiff. Because really in a business, this is what bothers me more than anything in a business with an employee is take advantage. It doesn't matter if it's with me or somebody else. Take advantage of everything that's available there because you're carrying that skill set somewhere else. If you're going to save yourself and say, you know what, when I get my good job, I'm really going to apply yourself. Well, you're building daily habits.
Yeah.
And daily habits become weekly habits, become part of you, become your
Yep.
character.
Hmm.
Okay. So if you're building a shitty character,
That's
well,
who you
it's
are.
hard to do anything with shit, right?
Right.
It just is. So, and that goes with my kids. Whenever, I've had my kids walk off mad, leave, quit, whatever the case, many times. And I'm going to work somewhere else. I'm like, thank God, but your mother's going to be mad. This is going to suck for like 2 days.
Right.
Because in the family, and whether it's family in business or family in general, you don't always want to throw the trigger bomb words. Everybody, like right now, Rachel, you know something that will trigger Dalton in a way that you want him to trigger, but not really, but you know how to get right to it and vice versa. Usually, if
Yeah.
you don't, you haven't fought and made up enough. Okay.
Right.
Because I can go over, my wife can say something to me right now. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, we had 25 people. We did less volume. We were more chaotic. We had 25 workers, right? And I was just over this shit. I was like, I only started this so I'd have a place to drink and have a good time and watch unsolved mysteries and have some money. I was already making six figures in the pizza business. My wife loved that. My wife would come home every night with a wad of money, right? I have a tendency of micromanaging situations that I don't need to be involved in.
Yeah.
That's why my office is across the street, because I'm a disruptor. My wife reminds me that. She goes, "Hey, funny guy, if you're so funny, see if they save past 4 o'clock laughing when they
Right,
check out."
right.
And I was like, we don't really need to go there. I mean, I wish you kind of, be a little bit more encouraging or read some books or something. And, but she's just cut to the core like that. So anyway, I hope I answered some of your
You
questions
did,
there.
yeah.
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 And talking about, like young kids in business, I mean, me and Dalton see it all the time. Like, not only are we both very business oriented and ambitious kids, I mean, I just turned 30, he's 29, but we somehow found each other to
Yep.
do this with, which is just so much fun. And even when we talk to some of our friends or like, old friends that are kind of in business, it's just still not the same mindset that we have and like the same work ethic and the same
Yeah.
goals. So I mean, we're extremely fortunate for our age and the path that we're on and what we've created for ourselves. We're debt free at our young age. We've been debt free for several years now, and we want to keep it that way. It's such a good feeling.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being drowning in bills and wondering like, am I going to make it to the next paycheck? Like we create our own paycheck and we've taken our future into our own hands. And it's just a great feeling. It really is. And I wish that more people would consider this path.
Remember the guy I mentioned about M&R that owned all that? Well, I got screwed on some equipment. And what happened is he said, listen, he goes, I'm going to send you a press free. That's a $50,000 press. We were enemies up until that phone call. He goes, I'm going to send you one free, and I'll send somebody up a tech to set it up. And he says, if you like it, pay me. If you don't like it, keep it and sell it.
Yeah.
You want to talk about some mind jet,
Yeah.
stuff.
Right.
I got off the phone with my wife. I said, I think he's trying to screw me somehow. And she goes, well, how was that? He said, I said, I don't know. There's a secret plan here that I haven't figured out. Right. So anyway, and they set it all up, and I paid him in 30 days. I said, here you go. And so he said, I want to come down and see you. So he came down. This guy's done the Baja 1,000. He's, listen, when I say big money, I'm talking, hundreds of $millions company, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
He comes down here, spends a day. I said, I don't know how this guy's going to act. I mean, we were kind of rude on the forums. And he come down, he goes by himself, and he come down, he goes, I'm Jeff Saxby, I'm Rich Hoffman, nice to meet you. And we sat here, and he said, do you mind if I look at your shop? I said, yeah, go ahead and take a look around. I don't care. And he come back in about 45 minutes later, and he goes, this is a screen printing business. He goes, I don't know how you're making any money. Your shop is completely effed up. I was like, no, I really don't know how to take this. I said, well, we're doing $1.5 million. What are you talking about? He goes, I don't know how you're doing anything. I said, well, go out there and look. That's how we're doing it. And he goes, well, you have no systems in place. I said, sure, I got a system. Shit comes in and it goes out, Rich. That's the system. I don't know what other system you want. He goes, come up to M&R. And I said, okay. So I brought my family up to M&R, gave him the tour of the place. And he sat down. He says, so what do you want to do in screen printing? I said, make money. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, well, do you want some systems and processes? And I said, listen, if it's going to screw me up, I mean, listen, I drink an 18 pack a day. I chase it by a bottle of vodka, and then I go to the bar and I close it down. I said, if it's going to screw that up, I'm not so sure I want that. I said, what are you talking about? And he said, this is what I suggest you buy. And he comes back, and I said, that's $350,000. He goes, yeah. He goes, I gave you discounts and everything. And he goes, you don't have to do any of this. He goes, but this is what your company needs in your family. And I was like, really? Well, there's going to be some heavy drinking tonight. So anyway, I said, yeah. I said, okay. I said, what's the catch? He goes, no catch. He goes, I'm going to finance it. And he says, you pay me back whenever. I was like, this is really odd, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know he goes, I'm telling you. So I did it. I signed it. I was paying him 25,000 a month. And we talk every day, come down, brought gurus in my place, set it all up. I'm a complete M&R shop, except one piece of equipment now. He sold the company. And that's the guy that got back to me the fastest of anybody. I just texted him the other day, told him that.
Yeah.
And yeah, as a matter of fact, listen, I touch people every day, okay,
Yeah.
whether they like it or not. And the people that get me get it. The people that don't get me don't get it.
Right.
Okay. And if you don't get it, so this is what I literally sent him yesterday. You the best thing I've ever learned from you is how quickly you get back to people in general. I don't expect you to work on this. That's not what but just I deal with so many people, and you are the best at doing that. Probably one of the most successful people I know, and the fastest to get back at somebody. I appreciate that, and I always try to emulate that and do that myself. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to your family, Rich. The reason it sounds like I'm pausing because I was actually doing treadmill work. I wasn't getting worked up, but listen, I get worked up. He said, "Happy Thanksgiving, Jeff. God bless you and everything you need for sure this year. I'll be in your neck of the woods fishing. Tried to get there last year. I'll come down." But so anyway, this guy sets me up, and then I hit a dry spell. I had a couple people take my QuickBooks, and they were working for me for one more month in-house, and they were feeding their orders and my QuickBooks, my clients, to the competitor. These are people that I help buy cars with. I don't need any of this money to live off of. I was making money so everything I did, I stuck back into my business or my employees. And I told you I was a drinker. I haven't drank in 10 years. And, but anyway, I hit a dry spell there. And I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, what if I was a one-hit wonder at this? So this person, I don't know if somebody that worked here, I can't remember. They gave me this damn, it's like a little crocheted blanket, right? And they gave me one. I thought it was pretty cool. I took it home, and then it shrunk up, right? So it's a half blanket. So I was so depressed. Listen, I was so depressed when that happened. Nobody warned me, no customer. And I told my wife, I said, listen, I said, I'm going to fire that damn kid of mine. And she goes, what? I said, I'm just tired of him. I said, the first year they love you. The second year they question you. The third year they think they know more than you. We're on the fifth fucking year. Okay.
Nobody tells you what happens on the fifth year.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll tell you what happens on the fifth year. I get a knock in my office. Dad. Well, yeah, what's up? And always something. Dad. It's like, oh shit. I don't really like being called dad at work. I don't really like that in general, to be honest with you. It always comes with some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I need something. Call me like uncle or something. So anyway, I'm like, yeah, what's up? And he says, we're going to have to fire mom. I was like, what? Fire your mom? Your mom's a workhorse. What are you talking about? She's dropping ink on, she's sloppy. I was like, well, hire somebody to clean up after. I'm not firing your mom. Your mom makes us millions of dollars. What are you talking about? He goes, I just can't, I got to stop the press. I got to wait. I said, go get somebody and pay them $70 back then. It was, you could pay people minimum wage, pay them minimum wage and just clean up around your mom. What are you talking about? And he goes, I don't know. We'll see. I was like,
we'll see.
I was like, okay, we'll see. So anyway, we hit this dry spell. Me and my son have a falling out. He moves to Missouri. And his wife at the time is my best salesperson. And I'm like, this is starting to suck. So then they divide the counts up with the other salespeople, and that's blood in the water. And when you lose your momentum, be very careful about that. So protect your momentum and protect your seed money at all cost. Okay. And so anyway, all of a sudden, boom, accounts are gone. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And then I find out. And I said, hey, you guys coming to work today? We just had a big ass party at the VFW, right? I'm a neighbor. They made me an honorary member. They're like, did you ever serve? No, I was going to, but I didn't, they kept trying to come up. Is anybody in your family in the service? I was like, yeah, a lot of uncles, and we're going to let you in. Okay, great. The very next day, I find out these people are working in another company, don't come to work. I get this shit put on my plate, right? And I'm like, oh, this is some dangerous shit here. And nothing will get you motivated like the sense of loss.
Yeah.
Oh
Say
yeah.
let's say you're with somebody and you kind of like them, but you kind of are out of like with them a little bit, like
Yeah.
a boyfriend, girlfriend, relationship, whatever, right? Nothing will get you liking that person more than finding out somebody else likes them. You're like,
Hmm.
oh shit, what are you talking about? I love Carol. You don't love Carol. You take her car and run down the gas. But I only drive places that Carol would go, but she can't go because she's working. I love Carol. And so anyway, yeah, love like that. So anyway, I'm like, oh shit. Um, so I go get my baby blanket. And what do? Like every man, I go lay on my couch and I'm sitting there thinking, I do not want to do this anymore. I brought back my son and now this shit happens. And I made promises to him. So I told my wife, I go home. I said, I quit. And she goes, yeah, okay. I know. I said, I'm done with that place. I just built a new building and I just paid off M&R. And I'm like, I'm done. I hate this shit. And she goes, yeah. I said, you tell that smart ass kid, you tell him, see my wife, she's the in between, right? You
Yeah.
tell him, take a press if he can do it better. Take any press you want, any dryer, any heat press, printer, what you want. Take any staff that you want. I'll go rent you a building and you go do it. There you go. And she goes, yeah, he could do that. She goes, but you did bring him back. I was like, yeah, I did. And said, I'm sorry about that. I said, give him 50,000. Just give him 50,000 and some equipment and tell him to go do it on his own. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And my wife said, she goes, yeah, we could do that. She goes, but I just didn't think you had that much quit in you.
Yeah. Hmm.
That'll bother you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Just for the record, I did have that much quit. I just didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. She knew
So
exactly how
when
to
that
handle it.
happens, sorry about that.
That's
You're
okay,
okay.
Jeff.
When
That's
that
real
happens,
life.
well, that was some bullshit. So when that happens, I took I took my fucking baby blanket and I'm laying on this couch, right? This leather couch that I got for my grandkid because he was a little whiner. And after school, he wanted to take naps all the time. And I was like, you can nap in the chair. And his mom said, man, he needs to have some. I said, well, take him home or to the sitter. I don't know. I don't want a couch. She goes, yeah, I understand. So 20 minutes later, we're on Facebook Marketplace buying a damn couch so my grandson could lay on it after school. Well, he's not there, so I'm laying on it. And I told his mom he can sit in a chair. I'm laying on this couch because we bought a couch and a chair. I said he can lay in the leather chair, he'll fit. And so anyway, I'm laying on this couch thinking, question everything in life. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, all your demons start to come up. You know what? I probably shouldn't have had all those people and spent thousands of dollars at bars. And I probably shouldn't have done that. And I probably shouldn't have done that. And then you know what I said? Fuck it. I did it.
You did it. That's
And it was a
yeah.
great time.
Uh-huh.
Would I do it again? Maybe with some different people.
Yeah.
And so I was listening to a guy. I had a call with this guy, and he goes, I don't know if I really want to do business with you or whatever we are talking about. He goes, I think he says you need to like get a little polished up. And I was like, you don't tell somebody that with a GED and a temper. And like I was like, polished up. You mean so I could be slippery like you are and slimy? I said, no, I'll stay a little rugged so you got something to grip.
Yeah,
I
there you
said,
go.
I said, we'll see where you're at in a few years.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you a little story, a little fact of life. How people talk to you, that's how they communicate. So
Hmm.
if somebody calls you up and they're loud, and that's how they receive information.
Yeah.
It's just weird. It's just weird how people are. And in business, you think you got to be all this because you imagine what successful people are like when you're not around. You envision all these things of what success should look like, however you want success to look like for you.
I
Right.
That's
agree.
all it is.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I should drive this car. I should drive that car. No, it's not the car that you should drive. It's what drives you.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. I can tell you from Mercedes, I can tell you from Lincolns, I can tell you from town cars, Cadillacs. My favorite vehicle that I have is a Toyota Tacoma. I don't know. I just think sometimes when you're in business, you feel that you've got to be all this. Our thing with LynnPro here is very simple. We were in a program called Traction. Have you ever heard of that? All right.
No.
That's a program where they EOS, that's where they like to get you, thinking about your business. See, you think you need all this shit.
Yeah.
Really, why you think you need all this shit is because the stuff you already think you need to do, you're not doing.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
So you need some other shit to do that you're not going to do so you can avoid the shit you're supposed to be doing that you're not doing.
And then act like
Right.
super busy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, right. So my wife, she doesn't play that game. She is disciplined to the T on how she does stuff. If she like a serving size of Oreos is two, that's what she eats. A serving size of Oreo is me, is that whole fucking roll, they wouldn't stick it in there.
Yeah, a big
Who
glass
sticks
of
a
milk.
whole roll in there and
Yeah.
expects you to eat like two? It's
And a
almighty.
glass of milk, Jeff. Don't forget the milk.
No, we got that. And so just do what you already know that you're supposed to do. And
Yeah.
if that's not working, do little increments. A lot of times in business, you're only off if I don't know. Obviously, you're in your 30s and your radio or you're close to the radio dial. If it's a little off, it's a little staticky, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, that thing will get coming in, even if it's like 97.5 is the channel it's supposed to be, 97.7, you'll still hear it clear once in a while, depending where you're at, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. But then it gets staticky. You're just off sometimes a little bit.
Yeah.
That's all you're
Frequency
off.
isn't
Just
lining
get
up.
on course a little bit. You don't need to make big shifts all the time. You think that's what it is, and it's not what it is. So in my business at LynnPro, as much as I like to bullshit, I give you the tools you need. I teach you how to use them. And my goal is to get you better than I am at that particular job. Okay. Number one is because I really don't like doing that shit. All right. And number two, if you get really good at it, you can say, I'm better than the boss. That's fine. And number three is if you're going to feel good, empowered. Any one of I tell them all the time, anyone you could go anywhere in screen printing and kill it. They would pay you top dollar, probably more than I pay you in some, because I pay bonuses instead of top dollar. They might even pay you more than I pay you.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about that is the dynamic might be different. Okay. It's like when people, let's say they get divorced. Okay. It happens. And they start cheating on their spouse and they think I'm going to leave this relationship and just slide over here and everything will be the same except I have a better partner.
Right.
Maybe for a minute
Mhm.
until all shit collapse.
Yeah.
Maybe stop jumping around in so many things in life and give something a real shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Success doesn't happen overnight all the time. Does
Yeah.
it occasionally? Sure.
Yeah. You gotta be real
People
lucky.
hit shit quick.
Hmm.
I have found that out. Usually when that happens, when something tough comes up, you're screwed.
Exactly.
Yep.
Hmm.
So my
Real
thing is that with LynnPro, we just want to give a great product. We open it up to an affiliate program, to a referral program. And whoever we decide to do work with, we want to do the best work we possibly can do. Is it going to always be the best in the world? And is there ever going to be or never be an error? No.
Hmm.
Things happen. Okay. But the great thing about LynnPro is if something does happen, and it does periodically, a freight truck could go in a ditch and you didn't get your stuff.
Right.
And you don't care that guy went in the ditch. You care that you didn't get your stuff. And now I got to scramble the next day air it and it cost me thousands of dollars to get you your stuff because that's what I do. Or I got to mail it out to every single participant because, that's what needs to be done. Do I like that? No. I might not make any money from that customer for 3 years because of what I had to clean up and take care of. But I did that. I don't do it just for the customer. I do it for us because I said I give the best quality service that I possibly could. I do it for me because I don't allow any gray area. If there's gray area, then it can become a little black.
Hmm.
And I just don't allow myself to think like that when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll kind of get wrapping up here.
But
But yeah, no, I think you take a lot of pride in the work that you guys do, and I think it's really awesome. You're very passionate,
mhm.
and when you speak and what you've been through, and business isn't always easy. It's not clean. I mean, it's got its ups and downs, and obviously a lot of emotional pull.
Mhm.
We've got our own story, but yeah, like working with Jeff from the capacity that we do so far, I mean, the quality of his work is exceptional. And I mean, he would give the shirt off his back if it was his last one and somebody just wanted it. They didn't need it.
Yeah.
They just wanted it.
Yeah.
So,
No,
yeah,
your passion shines through, Jeff. and you know, your want to help everybody. I think it inspires everybody around you. We see it every day, that just radiating from you, and we gravitate towards those people because we our motto is lead with helping, and that's exactly what we do in our business. Even if we don't make a dime from you today, tomorrow, 5 years from now,
Yeah.
we just want to leave every conversation knowing that we helped somebody, and that's exactly what we see in you too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, hey, thanks for having me. And that EOS thing that we paid $10,000 to join, that she should have paid me 20,000 because I coached her. But out of that, we come together. And LynnPro's motto is simple. It's very simple. Jump in and work together and get shit done. That's our actual motto. If
I
you don't,
love that.
you learn that, because that's what we expect you to do here. You don't wear one hat, you wear many hats, and we're all under the same umbrella to do stuff. And nobody ever says, hey, I don't want to take the trash out. I mean, they might think that, but everybody jumps in and they're cross-trained. And that's just expected. If you did a poll on my employees, you can call them up. It doesn't matter to me, and say, listen, how would you rate working for LynnPro? They would probably give it a 9. And how do you like working for Jeff? He's generous, but he can be a little harsh sometimes. How do you like working for Sheree? She's on point all the time. And my wife runs production.
Yeah.
And I run to the other building. So anyway, with that, thank you for having me. And I know it went sideways and crooked and all
That's
that.
okay.
And that's just how things go.
Yeah.
That's how we roll.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of structure, you know, when we hop on with people. We
Yeah.
just like to hear, you know, stories, and you've got tons of them. So
Yeah,
yeah.
if you're any type of small business and you're looking for merchandise to get, promotional items and such like that, maybe Jeff could do a better description than I just gave of what what he produces. We'll put his link in the bio and the comments, and that you guys can reach out to him and see if there's anything he'd be able to help, come to life for you guys.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right,
Can't
sounds good.
recommend you
Thank you
enough,
so much,
Jeff.
guys.
All
Appreciate it.
right.
Bye.